Alright, so we're going to talk about one of the few things that actually goes hard in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and that is the roster cuts. These roster cuts in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero are one of the few things that actually go hard in this game. Remember, I touch on the things that they be leaving out. All these other people want to talk about the characters that are coming into the game. I'm talking about the characters that have been confirmed to be getting cut out of the game from BT3 to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So as I get into it, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and enable all notifications, and also hit that like button, send those thumbs up into the sky, and let's get right into it, because I think one of the most heavily affected sagas in this game that actually get affected by these roster cuts is OG Dragon Ball. And these are some hardcore fan favorite characters that people that love the OG Dragon Ball series will definitely feel the pain of being cut. So the first character is Arale. Now personally, I don't care too much about the character. I mean, it's a great character, don't get me wrong, but in an online setting, I don't see myself playing that character at all. But definitely one of those characters that you hear being brought up in a lot of like character wish list videos for future Dragon Ball games. Me personally, I don't feel like the impact will be felt that much if you are like a heavily Z fan or heavily GT fan, but definitely something to mention if you are in this game for OG Dragon Ball. Another character, and this kind of surprises me because again, these are some big roster cuts. Like as far as the story is concerned, General Blue is being cut from the OG Dragon Ball roster. I don't know how you tell the Red Ribbon Army Saga story without him, so I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do with the story mode, because Arale, General Blue, that's a huge segment of OG Dragon Ball. So it's becoming apparent that they're only maybe gonna touch on like the tournament. The next character to get cut is Ader. Again, this is a character that most people, most Dragon Ball fans, like when I say Dragon Ball in this tense, I mean the entire thing, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. Ader is getting cut. Definitely one of those characters that's more like of a hardcore following or fan based character. But yeah, definitely if you're an OG Dragon Ball fan, this character being cut, you will feel the pain. Another character that's being cut, and I hope they instantly replace her with another version, is Kid Chi-Chi. Now again, I mean, I can kind of venture a guess as to why this character was cut, but again, I hope they do like compensate with like adult Chi-Chi and maybe a outfit like reminiscent of the other preset. But again, this is like an OG character, so I don't really get how you're gonna have a in-depth retelling of Dragon Ball without Kid Chi-Chi. Again, I can kind of venture a guess as to why, but if you're a regular person, I don't see the problem with having this character in the game. But again, I can venture a guess, and I think we can all venture a guess as to why a modern Dragon Ball game won't be having Kid Chi-Chi on the roster. Hoping for all you OG Dragon Ball fans, they have adult Chi-Chi from the 22nd martial arts, or was it 22nd or 23rd? I'm pretty sure it's the 23rd that capped off Dragon Ball. Devil Man is one of the last big roster cuts from the OG Dragon Ball roster. Again, a hardcore following character. I wouldn't say he's one of my top 10, but out of the BT3 roster, yeah, I like playing him, like when I just want to F around and whatnot. But again, this is a character that a lot of people would have loved to see come in on a Xenoverse 2 DLC for like original Dragon Ball. And to know that this character is not coming for Sparking Zero is a heavy hit for the OG Dragon Ball roster. Now we're going to be getting into Z, and this is where the hits keep on coming. And these are heavy hits that are getting cut from this roster. I don't know if they're going to be coming back in any way, shape, or form, but it is confirmed that these characters are being cut from the roster. So the first major character is King Vegeta. is being cut from the Z roster. And I know a lot of people are going to come out the gates, out of the woodworks. Nobody cared about King Vegeta. Look, if you played BT3, you did care. You want your full Saiyan roster. And he had a badass ultimate like Orga Blaster. Yeah, I wanted King Vegeta to come in a Xenoverse 2 DLC. And to know that he's not coming in Sparking Zero, that is a heavy hit. Another character that is confirmed not to be coming in the new game Sparking Zero is Dr. Wheelo. So from the World's Strongest movie, I don't know why. Like, why is this character not coming in? Now, he's not a major character, especially if you're a fan of Planet Busters. But again, he's one of these rarer characters that people were waiting on coming back to a modern Dragon Ball game, and they're being cut. This one is, oh god, Turles is getting cut from the game. What in the hell are you thinking cutting this? I know a lot of people are like, we got Goku Black anyway, it doesn't matter, we got a better, like, no! Why are you cutting Turles? Like, that's a major BT3, BT2 character. What are you doing? Now, I don't know if they get desperate for DLC. Could they just toss him back in and be like, oh, look, you got Turles. We got him in with a new ultimate or something. I could see them doing that because he does have a pretty sick ultimate in BT3. And I guess that would be a DLC character for them to do a revamped version of that ultimate. I don't know how I feel about him being cut from the base roster of the game. But the next character that is confirmed not to be coming, and this hit me personally, Fasha, aka Serifa. Yeah, she's not coming to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. One more reason for me not to get this game. That hit me personally. She's one of my favorite characters. I've wanted her for years in Xenoverse 2. It makes me yearn for her more in Xenoverse 2. Because if they're not putting her in Sparking Zero, I'm just like, no. So other characters that are not coming, and this goes back to the original Dragon Ball, Tambourine is not coming to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Again, he's kind of like, I don't see too many people getting upset about that character not coming to the game. But again, if you're a fan of OG Dragon Ball and the big part that he plays, again, this is kind of confirming that they're only going to go in with the tournament, the actual tournament sagas, and they're kind of being sparse on the presence of OG Dragon Ball. They're touching on it a little bit, but not really going in. Another character that's big, and I think this is more Z, but it is a Dragon Ball character, is Cyborg Tao. Specifically, Cyborg Tao. I have not heard anything about OG Tao coming into the game, but Cyborg Tao is being cut from Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So, if you're a fan of Tao, I imagine just like if you're a fan of Goku, you want all his forms and variations in the game. So if you're a fan of Tao, I can definitely see you being upset by this. I don't say that it is the biggest loss ever, like losing Turles out of the base roster for the game. But again, a pretty big loss nonetheless. Spopovich is being cut from the roster. A lot of people are going to say, no one cares, he's got a game. But that's a major story in Dragon Ball, and that's a major battle from Dragon Ball Z. Like, not major like Majin Vegeta versus, Super Saiyan 2 Goku. But that is like a pivotal moment in the Buu saga. Like, that's what really kicks everything off. So yeah, that being cut is definitely being felt. More of a special character next being cut is Zangya. No word on Bojack, but definitely Zangya. She's being cut from the game. So I don't know what they're doing there. I guess it's just one and done. I guess that's how they're handling that particular part of the story. One and done. Just one battle, because in BT3, Bojack still did not have his full roster of teammates like Bujin, Gokui, and any of the other characters. But yeah, that's definitely being felt. Zonga was a lot of people's favorite character. Even if you go to Raging Blast 2, she's definitely a fan favorite character for a lot of people. The next character being cut is King Cold. Now, a lot of people, that is a big character, and I think that's going to cause a lot of problems for the community. King Cold not being into the game, that's major for the beginning of the Android saga where Future Trunks shows up. So maybe they're just going to handle that with a cutscene, or they're jumping around. I don't know. But again, I don't know, like, why would you cut King Cold? Like, do you not have the voice actor? Are they going? I think one of the not one of the modern, but I think one of the current voice actors is actually the voice for King Cold. I don't think they've been cut for Funimation or Crunchyroll staff, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays. So I don't know why you would cut King Cold. Other big mentions on this list include, and this is definitely gonna piss people off, Android 13, 14, 15, and Super 13 are all being cut from Sparking Zero's roster. Now that is major. When I saw that, like, yeah, that's the big one. That's the big list on this list of characters being cut, and I just completely not covering that like particular movie in the game. I guess they're going to be coming back later and doing DLC on it or something, because I don't know how they think they're going to get away with this. But I guess they're going to... if you are buying Sparking Zero, I guess you're hoping that they bring them back for like a movie DLC. Now, that's not justifiable to me. I don't see how you justify like taking characters that were actually in the past game and trying to bring them back as DLC characters. But yeah, I can see them doing it. I mean, look at Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They've made a lot of money going back and cutting out base things like Bardock. And what have they covered? Cool. No, they took out Bardock. They took out the Future Trunks stuff, and they resold it to people. So I'm not really shocked by them trying to do it with the Android, the Super Android 13 movie. But those are major characters. Like, everyone loves Super Android 13's Ultimate in that game. Like, his whole moveset, his entire kit was big. And then you got the obscure characters. When I say obscure, I should say rare characters like Android 14 and 15. They don't get featured that much in modern Dragon Ball games, if at all. I think the last game outside of the mobile games that they were actually featured in would have been Raging Blast 2. And I think they had some of their moves in Ultimate Tenkaichi. And I think they had some super attacks that would have been theirs in Xenoverse 2. Like, we got some random moves that like would have belonged to them that was just added into the Xenoverse 2 CAC move pool. So definitely that's being felt. Other characters, and I think this is more like Raging Blast 2, because I went back and I checked, these characters were not in BT3 except for Salsa, and that's Nice, Dore, and Salsa are being cut from the Sparking Zero roster. So again, I think most of those characters were Raging Blast 2. Salsa was a part of BT3, but Nice and Dore came later in Raging Blast 2. Again, a lot of people are going to say that they don't care because those are henchman characters. But again, these henchman characters, some of them have some fan favorite designs. That's why everyone wants the Bardock team. Everyone wants the Turles Crusher Corps. Everyone wants the Spice Boys with Garlic Jr. Everyone wants those side characters because they have some really badass designs. And they are some fan favorite characters. And in a short amount of time that they were featured, they had some pretty badass moves. So cutting out a character like Nice and Dore, like Cooler's personal armored squadron, his very own Ginyu Force, that hits hard. So I guess they're doing a one and done, which I think you can still do multiple battles with that particular saga with just Cooler. But again, like, cutting the henchmen, like, what are you doing? Like, so you're just cutting all the other characters, like the henchman characters, the special characters, the rare characters, and you're just replacing them with some super characters. Like, that's what I'm getting here. And no. Like, that is actually freaking horrible. And the last big name on this list, and I mentioned him earlier, is Garlic Jr., which of course that hits me hard because I've been waiting for him to return in a modern Dragon Ball game. And that just means no henchman characters. Because that's the interesting thing about him. He's got a badass transformation, and he has some badass henchmen. Now, he has 2 sets of henchmen. He has the one from the original movie against against Piccolo and Goku in the original movie. And then he has the other set of henchmen from the filler arc in between the Namek Saga and the Android Saga. Both sets of Spice Boys. Everyone's fans of those characters, and Garlic Jr. himself. And that's a villain particular to Gohan because he's the one who defeats him in the original movie. And then again, when he shows up in the filler saga where Garlic Jr. has a bone to pick with him. Oh, the Dark, what was it called? Dark War Demon Mist arc, the Demon Mist saga. I love that. Like, imagine had we gotten a like Z Fighter alts based on all those different occurrences in the Dragon Ball time, like the Dark Water Mist or Demon Mist, and then like people always want those interesting side things. It just seems like we never get them, so it looks like we're not going to be getting them again with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So that's been all the roster cuts as it stands right now. I'm not going to say that that's everything that you're pretty much getting removed from this game. But again, that's everything that I currently know. If I find out anything else, I'll make an updated video. But yeah, that kind of hits hard. Like those cuts hit hard. It hit me pretty hard. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.